Hi guys, good evening. How's everyone doing? I hope all of you are fine. Hi Aradhya. Hi Sabir. Aditi, how are you guys doing? Hi everyone. How is everyone? Guys, come on, tell me, how are you doing? Hi Akalpya. Hi Anushka. Hi Madhusudan. Hi hacker lover. Hi Sarita. Hi Satyajit. Hi Tabassum. Hi Resnem, Karthik, Smriti. How is everyone? Are you guys staying home and staying safe? As I told you, this is going to become my new tagline because I want everyone to stay home and stay safe so that all of us can eventually step out and that too sooner because this vaccination doesn't seem to come out any soon, guys. We're stuck. Okay, so keep saying hi. I'll just keep reading your messages. It's lovely to hear from all of you. I will start the ICSE session from tomorrow onwards. We're going to start with a quick video of the discussion over the syllabus, and it's basically going to be live from tomorrow onwards. So I've been getting a lot of mails, guys. Just don't worry, it's going to start tomorrow. Okay. Hi everyone, it's getting flooded. Chill, everyone quite आराम से. आज menti quiz नहीं है बच्चे. That will happen once we have finished the chapter. Only after that, ठीक है? Hi Charu, Bhagishri, Pavan, Sarita, Subhash. Times of technology. Hi everyone. How are you? I'm absolutely fine. Thank you so much for asking. And I am glad that I'm able to read your messages. Last time there was a lot of lag, and I hope that doesn't happen today. Good evening, Bacha. Yes, we will start with ICSE syllabus very soon. And yeah, Jai Shri Ram. Okay, guys, chalo, let's get started. A very good evening. I'll keep checking your messages every now and then. I'm your master teacher, Ankana, your SST, new SST teacher at Vedantu, and I hope all of you doing amazing and all of you are absolutely fine. Please, I'll keep saying this n number of times. Stay home and stay safe. Take care of your loved ones. Take care of yourself. Okay, so guys, welcome to the second session of what is democracy and why democracy. We have already finished the first session wherein we discussed the first two features of democracy. I hope you have seen that because we are now going to move forward and discuss the other features of democracy. Okay. Before that, let's quickly look at the answers of the questions that we had. Yes, I mean like in the previous session. So the answers are for the first question 3000, second one in institutional revolutionary party, and the third one is representatives elected by the people. So you can always have a look at this, go back, check whether you answered correct or not. Just in case if you did wrong, you can always rectify it. Okay. And the three people who answered the fastest, Simran, Anandi, and Sachin, congrats you guys. Guys, your name can also be here. All you need to do is answer the fastest, and also guys, not in the live chat. This is something that I observed is all of you keep answering in the live chat. That doesn't get recorded. Go make sure that you go into the chat box, put your comments there, answer the questions over there. You have liked and subscribed the channel, and then we'll be able to see your name on the leaderboard as well. Meanwhile, congrats Simran, Anandi, and Sachin, you guys have done amazing. You've been the fastest in answering the questions. Okay, without any further ado, I'll get started. So today's index is what we're going to discuss today through the session is one person, one vote, one value, followed by rule of law and respect for rights, summary definition, arguments against democracy, and in the end, we're going to discuss most important one mark questions, which is going to be very important from the perspective of examination, guys. So stay tuned till there, and that will also help you get your name in the leaderboard. Okay, so let's start with one person, one vote, one value. Now, what do we mean by this? Okay, I am fine, guys. How are you? Vishwas, I took your name. Are you happy now? Hi, Anandi. Hi, everyone. Hi, Rahul. Then, if your name is Rahul, why have you put your name as Sweetie over here? This is the second chapter. This is the first. Sorry, this is why democracy and what is democracy. This is the second session of that chapter. I'm absolutely good. How are you guys? Hi, Chanchila, guys. If I thank you so much, Minu. But if I keep taking your name, मैं पूरे session यही करते रह जाऊंगी and we will not be able to get started. So let's keep continuing with this also. And whenever I get an opportunity, I'll definitely take your names. Okay. So, if you remember, we discussed that democracy, हमने definition देखी थी democracy की, right? But we also realized that that was just not enough. Just the definition of democracy, that it is a place where, I mean, it is a form of a government जहाँ पे लोग अपने ruler को choose करते हैं by participating, by doing elections, through elections, and they choose their representatives who ultimately rule the government. Is just not enough. We need more to that, right? So in order to ensure that, there are few other features that we're reading about democracy, and the first two we have done already. Then what are the other two? So we're going to look at two more features today. For the first one, if you remember, like how we did case studies last time to understand कि democracy actually क्या होती है, किस form में exist करती है, क्या जो लोग claim कर रहे हैं कि वो democratic है, सच में democratic government है या नहीं है. The same thing we are going to do today. Okay, we're going to look at few instances where the rights of voting have been denied to people on certain basis. And if you remember, we said we are constantly saying that people are supposed to elect their rulers, and that is what democracy is. अगर ऐसा है तो इसका मतलब ये है कि हर एक इंसान के पास everyone is supposed to have one vote, and that vote should carry equal value. But we will understand this better. So Saudi Arabia में क्या हुआ था? Until 2015, you can imagine, just 5 years back, until 2015, women were not allowed to vote. Women did not have the right to vote. What does this make? What does this make them? This makes them inferior to the men of the country, because men had something which the women did not, and that was the right to vote. The basic feature, the very basic definition, what creates the essence of democracy, that was missing. Okay. Similarly, in Estonia, there were native Estonians, okay? There were people who were basically from there, who belonged to that country. But there were also few people who had migrated from Russia, जो Russian minority थी वहाँ की. So every country has some minority, जहाँ के लोग वहाँ के नहीं होते हैं और कहीं बाहर से migrate करके आए होते हैं. So these people basically had come over there, and they were denied, not exactly denied, but were facing a lot of difficulty to get their right to vote, which means it was not easily available to them as it was available to the rest of the natives of Estonia. Okay. And similarly in Fiji, so Fiji, the people who were indigenous Fiji, basically means people जो हमेशा से वहाँ रह रहे थे, whose ancestors were also there, जिनके पूर्वज भी वहाँ रह चुके थे, जिनकी ancestral nativity थी वहाँ की. Those were the people who would easily have the rights to vote. Their votes had more value over the Indian Fiji. अब ये Indian Fiji आए कहाँ से? So this is something that you learn ahead in history also, in 10th standard nationalism in India, where we also learn the fact that a lot of people, when Britishers were here, took people from India to do plantation and work as farmers over there. Now those people settle over there, और वहां से उनकी वहाँ के ही होकर रह गए, वो वहीं पे बस गए, ठीक है? They resided there itself. So those people, now it's not their fault that they were taken over there and they ultimately had to settle there down, but उनको वहां पे बराबर voting rights नहीं दी जाती है. उनकी value, जो भी उनकी votes की value है, वो उनके native, वहां के जो indigenous लोग हैं उन लोगों से कम है, ठीक है? So the fundamental principle of democracy is that everyone should have a political equality. Everyone should have political equality. Now, what do I mean by political equality? इसका मतलब क्या है? तो जो भी पावर है हमारे पास, जो भी पॉलिटिकल पावर है, जो भी पॉलिटिकल इन्फ्लुएंस है, एवरी सिटीजन इज सपोज टू हैव इट ऑन अ इक्वल बेसिस. जो मेरे पास है एज अ सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया, वो हर एक सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया के पास होनी चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो किसी और नेशन से आकर के अब यहाँ सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया अब बन गया है तो उसकी वैल्यू कम होनी चाहिए, या वो पहले से रह रहा है तो उसकी वैल्यू मुझसे ज्यादा होनी चाहिए, या वो किसी दूसरे रिलीजन का है, किसी दूसरे कास्ट का है. नो डिफरेंशिएशन बेस्ड ऑन anything, any aspect should be done. Everyone needs to have equal political influence and power when it comes to democracy. That is what we mean by political equality. But when we go back and look at these three conditions, I mean, like these three instances, these three things that we're having in these three different countries respectively, we realize कि ऐसा नहीं हो रहा था. For example, in Saudi Arabia, women के ऊपर political equal, I mean, like it was not equal. The political superiority was given to the men. They were superior in terms of having rights to vote. Women did not even have a voice to choose their leaders. Similarly, in Estonia, Russians वहाँ के ही natives, वहाँ के ही residents बन गए थे. They were citizens of that country, but they did not have equal rights. किसके पास ज़्यादा थी? एस्टोनियन पीपल के पास, जो वहाँ के नेटिव्स थे. एंड सिमिलरली जो इंडियन फिजी में रहने वाले लोग थे, उनके पास कम वैल्यू थी वोट्स की. बट डेमोक्रेसी ये प्रोफेस नहीं करता है, विच मीन्स दिस इज नॉट द एग्जैक्ट वे यू कैन से दैट इट इज अ डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री. However, elections are being elected, I mean, like elections are happening over there, that is being conducted over there, right? And also, each adult citizen must have one vote, and each vote must have one value. What does this mean? So as I say that people of Estonia or let's say Fiji, वहाँ पे कुछ लोगों के वोट्स को ज्यादा वैल्यू दी जा रही थी, यानी कि शायद मेरे वोट का काउंटिंग would be 0.5 but your vote would be counted 1, which is not fair. अगर हम दोनों को एक वोट मिल रहा है, it means that the value of these two votes should also be equal. Only then these elections can be said to be justified justified to democracy, right? But that was not happening. Which brings us to the next factor, rule of law and respect for rights. So यहाँ पे हम जिम्बाब्वे का केस देखेंगे. जिम्बाब्वे ने 1980 में इंडिपेंडेंस अटेंड की थी, ठीक है. Since then it has been ruled by this one party. वहाँ पे एक ही पार्टी रूल करती गई, which was ZANU-PF party. नाउ वहां पे जो बहुत सारे फ्रीडम फाइटर्स थे, जैसे यहाँ पे जवाहरलाल नेहरू आफ्टर फ्रीडम प्राइम मिनिस्टर बने, बिकॉज थ्रू द फाइट ऑफ फ्रीडम ही बिकेम वेरी पॉपुलर एंड देयर वाज अ रीजन बिहाइंड इट. सिमिलरली, रॉबर्ट मुगाबे gained a lot of popularity because he was also a freedom fighter. You can say he had a lot of participation in the journey of attaining the freedom, independence in Zimbabwe. So he became very popular among people, and hence he ultimately became the ruler also. Not ruler exactly, he got elected by people because of his popularity. But he kept on ruling the country for a very long period of time. And why was this happening? It may occur to me or to you also कि शायद ये इसलिए हो रहा था क्योंकि he was very popular. But that was not it. He was not just popular, he also had adapted a lot of unfair practices. He was doing a lot of malpractices जिसकी वजह से he kept on being in power. Over the years in government, while he was in power, what he did was he kept on changing the constitution. उसमें कुछ amendment लगाते रह गए वो, जिसकी वजह से उनका power और ज़्यादा increase होता गया and उनकी accountability और ज़्यादा घटती गई, ठीक है. This is what was happening. So do you think, guys, that this country, despite of having electing their ruler, was democratic? Do you think this crowd would be happy? The public would be happy? What do you think, guys? Come on, tell me. Short questions will be at the end of the session, Himansh. Menti आज नहीं होगा बच्चे. No, they wouldn't be happy, right? Because this is not true democracy. अब शायद उनको वो satisfaction नहीं होगा from their government and they might want to change. But because of all these things that Robert Mugabe was doing, it was not possible to do that, right? So Now when this was happening, obviously opposition party शांत तो बैठ नहीं रही होगी, so they were also raising their voices. But what happened to them? They were being harassed by this party. Okay, they were being harassed by the party of Robert Mugabe. They were being harassed by the party ZANU PF. Okay, and their meetings were disrupted all the time. अगर वो कुछ meeting कर रहे हैं, they're planning of something that would always be disrupted. ये लोग उनको जाकर के परेशान कर देते थे, खराब कर देते थे सारी चीजें. पब्लिक प्रोटेस्ट मतलब एज अ सिटीजन इन अ डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री एवरीवन हैज सम राइट्स. हमें बिल्कुल हक है, अगर हम किसी चीज से खुश नहीं है तो उसे पब्लिकली प्रोटेस्ट करने की. दो द प्रोटेस्ट नीड्स टू बी अ साइलेंट एंड नॉन वायलेंट थिंग, इट शुड नॉट बी डिस्ट्रप्टिंग द peace and harmony of the society. However, in any capacity this was not allowed in Zimbabwe. लोगों को demonstrations और protest करने ही नहीं दिए जाते थे. It was declared as illegal. ठीक है, कोई भी अगर किसी भी तरह से आवाज उठाने की कोशिश कर रहा है, they were said that these activities are actually illegal. It is against the government. Now laws were made जो कि लिमिट कर दे रही थी हर एक इंसान के राइट को टू क्रिटिसाइज द प्रेसिडेंट, टू क्रिटिसाइज द गवर्नमेंट इन पावर. देयर वर अ लॉट एंड लॉट ऑफ limitations. However, in democracy, the basic definition of democracy says that everyone has the right to criticize the government, because that also helps the government to develop, to perform better, and to understand how happy or satisfied the people of the country are with them. But they were not going to accept this. They were in fact going to limit this for every citizen. ठीक है, जो भी प्रेस, जो भी मीडिया थी वहां की, उन लोगों ने खरीद ली थी, उसको बिल्कुल कर्ब कर दिया था उनकी वॉइसेस को, और खरीद करके दे वर हाईली इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट इटसेल्फ. दे काइंड ऑफ हैड बिकम देयर लॉयर्स. जो भी वो करते थे वो उसको ही आगे ज्यादा जस्टिफाई करने की कोशिश करते थे. नाउ एट दिस टाइम देयर वर फ्यू इंडिपेंडेंट presses, few independent journalists, there were few people who were independently working, few independent newspapers. बट जब वो अपनी आवाज उठाने की कोशिश करते थे, लोग उन्हें रोक देते थे बाय हरासिंग देम, बाय मे बी किलिंग देम, by beating them up, by giving them warnings or ultimatums, and they also ultimately had to give up. Now government kept now at this time finally सबसे ज्यादा क्या होता है, सबसे ऊपर जुडिशियरी होती है. कोर्ट्स इंटरवीन करती हैं जब कोई एब्सोल्यूट पावर एक्सरसाइज करने की कोशिश करता है तो. सो लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स द जुडिशियरी केम इनटू द पिक्चर एंड दे ट्राइड टू इंटरवीन, बट व्हाटएवर जजमेंट वाज गिवन बाय देम वाज आल्सो इग्नोर्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट, एंड रॉबर्ट मुगाबे was finally thrown out of his office in 2017. So you can imagine from 1980 till 2015 or 17, he kept on being the president of the country, right? So what do we understand from this? इससे हमें क्या समझ आता है? अगर कोई बंदा इलेक्शन लड़ करके रूल करने आ रहा है, ठीक है, he is holding the office, तो ये जरूरी नहीं है कि उसकी पॉपुलैरिटी, क्योंकि उसे प्रॉपर पॉपुलर अप्रूवल मिला है, वो सफिशिएंट हो उसके वहां पे होने के लिए. हमें इलेक्शन के बाद, हमें गवर्नमेंट में इलेक्शंस हो गए सिर्फ ये कर देना काफी नहीं है, सिर्फ ये देख लेना काफी नहीं है. वी नीड टू हैव अ लुक एट द गवर्नमेंट before the elections also and after the elections also. It's very necessary, it's very important for us to have a look after and before the elections, what the government is doing and how the country or the government was before it. ठीक है, so just because कोई popular approval से आ गया है, that is just not enough. ना ही कोई because a lot of times, even despite of being a popular government, it doesn't mean that they're always going to be nice. They can do things which are undemocratic, because power is a thing which once somebody gets, जब हाथ में पावर आ जाता है तो उसका मिसयूज लोग बहुत ज्यादा करते हैं. सो जस्ट बिकॉज वो पहले अच्छे थे वो हमेशा रहेंगे, ये जरूरी नहीं है. सिमिलरली पॉपुलर लीडर्स कैन बी ऑटोक्रेटिक ऑल्सो. जस्ट बिकॉज आपको मतलब जैसे कि रॉबर्ट की अगर हम लोग केस को देखें, he was very popular, he fought for freedom. What did he ultimately do? After coming into power, he started sort of exercising absolute power on people. Autocratic क्या होता है guys? So autocratic is a type of government जहाँ पे rulers एब्सोल्यूट पावर एक्सरसाइज करते हैं, जहां पे वो सोल सेंटर ऑफ पावर बनने लगते हैं। बट डेमोक्रेसी क्या कहती है कि हर एक इंसान के पास बराबर पावर होने चाहिए, ठीक है, सबके पास इक्वल पावर होता है, एवरीवन हैज इक्वल इन्फ्लुएंस, बट दैट इज व्हाट वाज नॉट हैपनिंग इन जिम्बाब्वे, राइट? सो नाउ दैट इज व्हाट वी सी कि कई बार पॉपुलर लीडर्स भी वंस दे हैव द पावर स्टार्ट एक्सरसाइजिंग it in a wrong way. Okay, so what are the requirements for ideal democracy? ठीक है, so there should be sufficient room for normal political activities such as political opposition. Now, being a part of democracy, ठीक है, being citizens of a democratic country, हर एक इंसान को कुछ rights मिलती हैं, वो राइट्स हमसे छीनी नहीं जानी चाहिए. Those rights are not supposed to be taken by us. So and these are the rights of opposing the government if we don't like it, political opposition. और इसीलिए opposition parties होती हैं, because opposition parties अगर oppose नहीं करेंगी तो government जो कर रही है वो करती जाएगी. There would be nobody to keep a check on them. That is the whole idea. So these activities should not be put at the I mean, like, they should not be put we should not put a stop at these activities, on these activities. And then there are certain rights which every citizen needs to have. The government the state needs to respect those basic rights of the citizens, which is also our fundamental rights. And everyone has to be equal in the eyes of law, which means just because कोई president है या chief minister है, उसने अगर कोई crime किया है तो उसे different treatment मिलेगा और बाकी लोगों को different treatment मिलेगा, ऐसा नहीं होगा. The law has to be the same for everyone, and the judiciary has to be the highest in the tiered government that we have. जो भी sentence, जो भी decision is being taken by the judiciary, that has to be followed by everyone. हर एक इंसान को judiciary के orders follow करने हैं. एक government form होने के बाद कुछ भी अपनी मर्जी से नहीं कर सकती है, वरना तो फिर वो वापस dictatorship हो जाएगी. फिर फायदा क्या हुआ elections का? The idea of having a government in a democratic setup is to be aware of what the citizens want and be in their favor, do things that is good for them and not dominate them with absolute power. So a government cannot do whatever it wants just because it has been elected. हम election जीत गए तो हम जो चाहे वो करेंगे, मनमानी करेंगे, ऐसा नहीं होता है democracy में, ठीक है? And also they have to respect few things. Despite of being in power, they have to respect the rights of the citizens. They have to respect the laws that the constitution has formed. जो constitution ने laws define की हैं, बनाई हैं, वो सबके लिए बराबर है. government को जो elect होने के बाद आई है उसे भी वो follow करना है, और जो citizens के rights है उसका respect भी करना है, ठीक है? So this is what we understand from the requirements of ideal democracy. Okay. Bacha, ICSE will start very soon. Don't worry. Hi to you too. Hi everyone. Sachin, head of India. So basically, president is the nominal head. कहीं भी अगर represent करने की बात आती है, so the president goes to represent the country. However, president does not have the right to take direct decisions. तो वहाँ पे the prime minister plays all of that role. ठीक है? Thank you, Bhumi. That's very sweet of you. Hi, Mana. Hi, Ishita. Hi, everyone. Guys, are you able to understand? Can everyone quickly give me a thumbs up if you're clear what is happening, what has happened till now, if you're clear with the features of democracy? Everyone, quickly give me a thumbs up. Okay, finally I'm getting thumbs up. Come on, guys, faster. Okay, perfect. So, just to sum it up, we understand that गवर्नमेंट जो कि इलेक्ट होकर के फॉर्म हो गई है, वो खुद में उतना ही काफी नहीं है टू डिफाइन डेमोक्रेसी. ये सारी फीचर्स भी बहुत जरूरी है. एंड लेट्स put a summary. Let's summarize the features. The very first thing is major decisions by elected members. ठीक है, हाँ ये जरूरी है कि जो मेजर डिसीजंस है वो इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स ही लेंगे, and these elected members are supposed to be elected by the citizens of the country. There has to be a free and fair electoral competition, which means कि ऐसा नहीं है कि हमने इलेक्शन करा दिया और सिर्फ एक बंदे को खड़ा करके बोला तुमको इसे ही इलेक्ट करना है, या दोनों मेरे चॉइसेस के लोग हैं, अब बाकी लोग इन दोनों में से चुनेंगे. नहीं, whoever wants to be a part of the election, whoever wants to participate in the election can do that, and every citizen has to have the right to choose their own representatives, and they need to have the options to do that. It should not be limited by any, like on the basis of anything. Okay, also everyone has one person, one vote, one value. हर एक इंसान के पास इक्वल वोटिंग राइट्स होनी चाहिए, हर एक इंसान को एक वोट मिलना चाहिए और हर एक इंसान की वोट की वैल्यू बराबर होनी चाहिए. ठीक है. एंड द फाइनल वन इज रूल ऑफ लॉ एंड रिस्पेक्ट फॉर राइट्स. सो द रूल ऑफ लॉ मेक्स एवरीवन इक्वल. हर एक इंसान इक्वल है. एवरीवन हैज टू बी ट्रीटेड इक्वली. एवरीवन हैज टू रिस्पेक्ट द लॉ and the rights of the citizens, and the constitutional laws have to be respected. This, it doesn't matter ki what position do you hold. Okay. Now डेमोक्रेसी में हमने बहुत कुछ पढ़ा, राइट. हमने फीचर्स देखे, हमने देखा कि कैसे लोग लूप होल्स निकाल लेते हैं, कैसे people find a way out of going around the democracy, and which somewhere kills the essence of democracy. बट हर जगह डेमोक्रेसी बहुत ज्यादा प्रमोट की जा रही है. सो क्या ये बेस्ट फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट है? गाइज, डू यू थिंक डेमोक्रेसी इज द बेस्ट फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट? कैन यू क्विकली आंसर मी इन द चैट बॉक्स? Guys, do you think democracy is the best form of government? Vilas, to answer your question, that is what we are saying, that everyone should be equal, but that doesn't happen. That is the malpractices that is going on. Okay. No, yes, okay, I'm getting a varied, like a lot of responses. Few of us saying yes, few of us saying no. Let's see why and why not. So आज हम लोग ये देखेंगे कि what are the arguments against democracy. ठीक है, क्यों डेमोक्रेसी को इतना ज्यादा प्रमोट किया जाता है और माना जाता है कि होना चाहिए, बट स्टिल देयर आर सर्टेन आर्ग्यूमेंट्स अगेंस्ट डेमोक्रेसी. और हमने देखा है कि कैसे लोगों ने लूप होल्स निकाल करके या कुछ एक ट्रिक निकाल करके दे हैव काइंड ऑफ not really maintained the true essence of democracy. So democracy की problem क्या है? Instability first of all. जो गवर्नमेंट है वो एक टर्म के लिए होती है और उसके बाद चेंज हो जाती है because of the elections. Sometimes the same government may come, but it may also not come back into power, which makes inconsistent, unstable government, and the leaders keep changing, right? As a result of this, जो पहले लीडर ने किया होता है वो शायद दूसरी गवर्नमेंट नहीं करना चाहती है. ठीक है, जो पॉलिसीज, जो डेवलपमेंट पहली गवर्नमेंट कर रही थी, अब वो दूसरी गवर्नमेंट आकर के उसको फॉलो नहीं करेगी, क्योंकि इनके व्यूज, इनका विजन डिफरेंट होता है. Also, they were competitors of each other, so they will not try and follow that. As a result of this, क्या होता है कि it becomes a hindrance in the development of the country. सरकार तो आकर जा रही है, उनका कुछ नहीं जा रहा है, बट जो सिटीजन्स के हक में काम होना चाहिए था वहां पे हिंड्रेंस आ जाती है. कोई कहीं पे कोई सड़क बना रहा था, अब गवर्नमेंट चेंज हो गई, अब वो वहां पे ही काम रुक गया है, दैट कंस्ट्रक्शन हैज स्टॉप्ड ओवर देयर. बट प्रॉब्लम किसे हो रही है? प्रॉब्लम सिटीजन्स को होती है. सो दैट इज अ ड्रॉबैक ऑफ democracy. Then there's a lot of competition. There's so many parties and everybody wants to win, and if they're already in power, they want to come back in power. As a result of this competition and power play, morality बहुत ज़्यादा degrade हो जाती है. People do not really behave in an ethical way. They do not stick to moral and ethical approach of elections, and it also kind of pushes the differences up in between the people, because everyone tries to create their vote banks, एंड स्पेशली इन कंट्रीज लाइक इंडिया, लोग रिलीजन को प्रमोट करके वोट लेने की कोशिश करते हैं. दे ट्राई टू सिंपथाइज थ्रू दीज थिंग्स विद द क्राउड. कहीं पे रिलीजन होता है, कहीं पे कास्ट होता है. हर एक इंसान का एक वोटिंग बैंक बना हुआ है कि ये सेगमेंट जो है ये मुझे वोट करेगा. एंड पीपल ट्राई एंड पुट प्रेशर ऑन दैट विच फर्दर इंक्रीजेस द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द सोसाइटी, बिटवीन द डिफरेंट सेगमेंट्स ऑफ द सोसाइटी among the citizens, which is also not really healthy, neither is it moral or ethical. Okay. ऑल्सो बहुत सारे लोगों को कंसल्ट करना पड़ता है, सिर्फ एक इंसान नहीं है जो कि एब्सोल्यूट पावर होने की वजह से, या अगर मोनार्की है या फिर डिक्टेटरशिप है, वहां क्या होता है एक इंसान की चलती है. नॉट दैट इट इज अ गुड फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट, बट व्हाट हैपेंस इज वहां एक इंसान को डिसाइड करना होता है एंड वट एवर ही और शी डिसाइड्स happens immediately. But in a democracy, the involvement of number of people is so much that everyone has to be consulted and everybody's opinion needs to be taken into consultation, as a result of which there is a lot of delay in decision making. अगर एक लेवल पे पास हो गया है कोई बिल, तो वो दूसरी जगह जाकर रिजेक्ट हो जाएगा, एक सभा में सो दूसरी सभा में. इट कीप्स ऑन हैपनिंग एंड विच क्रिएट्स अल्टीमेट यू नो बैकलैश जो है वो लोगों को, कंट्री को झेलनी पड़ती है. एंड ऑल्सो व्हेन पीपल आर इलेक्टेड, लोग उन्हें अच्छा सोचकर इलेक्ट करते हैं. ओके, दे आर इलेक्टेड बाय कंसिडरिंग टू बी द बेस्ट ऑप्शन एट दैट मोमेंट, बट इट डज नॉट मीन दैट दे विल प्रूव टू बी द बेस्ट ऑप्शन. अल्टीमेटली दे आर ह्यूमंस. Ultimately, they're bound to make mistakes. Human errors हो सकते हैं, कुछ bad decisions हो सकती हैं. हो सकता है जब वो पावर में आ जाए उसके influence में they might not do things which are actually favorable for the people, for the citizens of India. They might make decisions which in the long term are actually selfish, only going to benefit them or a certain segment of the society. So also there is a high probability of people leading to bad decision making. Of course, corruption is something very common. हमारे तो मतलब खून में बसा हुआ है, सब लोग यहाँ पे करप्ट है. वहां गवर्नमेंट ने पैसे रिलीज किए फार्मर्स के लिए, पैसे जाने थे 1 लाख रुपए, फार्मर्स को 20 रुपए भी नहीं मिल रहे हैं. हर एक लेवल पे लोग पैसे मांग रहे हैं, बसा हुआ है हमारे खून में, और हमारे नहीं, इन जनरल ह्यूमंस इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. व्हेन पीपल आर होल्डिंग एन ऑफिस ऑफ पावर, जहां उनके पास पावर है, लोगों को लालच आ जाता है. पीपल टेंड टू गेट ग्रीडी एंड दैट लीड्स टू करप्शन. नो वन रियली has that moral check. Not everyone, I wouldn't say no one, but not everyone has that, and majority of people end up exploiting their powers, and that leads to corruption as well. Okay, then ordinary people have a problem. Okay, elections gone, whenever elections are happening, who are voting? It's the ordinary people. Or to be very honest, this is something that has been observed, that more than the higher class people or the educated people, the people who are not so educated or who belong to a lower economic class vote more. अब इन लोगों की प्रॉब्लम क्या है? These are ordinary people, guys. ये बहुत ऑर्डिनरी से लोग हैं. यहाँ क्या होता है, इनको अपने हक के बारे में पता भी नहीं होता है. They are not even aware of their rights. They are not even aware of what is the right, what is the wrong. और ultimately इंसान है, लोग हैं. If they are not very aware, they will tend to make bad decisions. वो शायद जो डिसीजन ले रहे हैं वो हमेशा सही हो, ये जरूरी नहीं है. और ये जो गरीब लोग, ये जो ज्यादा वोट करने जाते हैं, वो तो और ज्यादा बाकी लोगों से इन्फ्लुएंस हो जाते हैं. उन्हें कुछ लालच दे दिया जाता है एंड दे वुड जस्ट वोट जिससे भी वोट देने को बोल दिया जाए. उनको अपने हक के बारे में पता नहीं है. उनको डरा कर, धमका कर या गलत चीजें बताकर लोग वोट्स ले लेते हैं. सो ऑर्डिनरी पीपल are not always aware of their rights. They are a lot of time influenced by money, power, a lot of other things. और कई बार they just do not make the best decision because सामने वाला जो बोल रहे हैं तुम्हारे पास ऑप्शन नहीं है, तुम उसे सिर्फ मान सकते हो. वो सच में वो करेगा या नहीं करेगा ये हमें पता नहीं है. सो इन आर्ग्यूमेंट्स का आउटकम क्या है? हमने ये देखा कि क्या क्या इश्यूज हैं जो हमें डेमोक्रेसी में हम देखते हैं, जो फेस करें, विच टेल्स अस व्हाट आर द फ्लॉज ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी. हमें ये समझ आता है कि कोई भी फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट एंड सिमिलरली डेमोक्रेसी कोई मैजिक सोल्यूशन नहीं है. इट्स नॉट अ मैजिकल सोल्यूशन. एवरीथिंग हैज सम फ्लॉज, एवरीथिंग हैज सम लूप होल्स जिसका फायदा लोग उठाते हैं. ह्यूमंस आर वेरी स्मार्ट. they are very cunning, and लोग उसका फायदा उठा करके they find their way out to take advantage of the situation. So democracy, क्योंकि सिर्फ democracy हमने बोल दिया, वो एक magical solution नहीं है, ठीक है. It's a better form of government, definitely. वो एक अच्छा government है, एक better form है. However, it is not the only form of government that you can completely rely on. एक best solution of all the problems वो नहीं है. It's not a one stop where जहाँ पे one problem stop जहाँ पे तुम जा करके देखो और तुम्हारी सारी problem solve हो जाएंगी. Okay, then it has also created a lot of issues. जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया, कई बार because of democracy and changing governments, it creates a hindrance in the development of the country. क्योंकि policies बदलती रहती हैं, agenda बदलता रहता है government का development के लिए, अलग अलग चीजों के लिए, which is not very healthy for the country. और इसकी वजह से even the poverty has not ended. ठीक है, हमारे कंट्री में या फिर, and when I say in the country, guys, it is any democratic country. It just does not refer to India. Any democratic country, वहां पे पॉवर्टी खत्म नहीं हो रही है, लोगों की गरीबी खत्म नहीं हो रही है, इक्वालिटी, सच में इक्वालिटी नहीं आ रही है, ठीक है. देन ये जरूर इंश्योर करता है कि लोग खुद से डिसीजन ले, ठीक है. इट डेफिनेटली इंश्योर्स कि जो भी लोग डिसीजन ले रहे हैं वो खुद से ले रहे हैं. हाउएवर, ये इस चीज की श्योरिटी नहीं देता है. इट डज नॉट इंश्योर कि जो डिसीजन वो ले रहे हैं वो सही है. दे आर मेकिंग द राइट डिसीजन एंड दैट इट विल बी ऑलवेज इन द फेवर ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट और द कंट्री और द पीपल ऑफ द कंट्री, राइट. ऑल्सो इसकी वजह से क्या होता है, गवर्नमेंट्स चेंज होती रहती है, लोग गलतियां करते हैं, एंड उसकी वजह से जो भी गवर्नमेंट आ रही है उसके डिसीजन मेकिंग में बहुत डिलेज होती है, और ये जो है ओवरऑल एफिशिएंसी ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट को डिक्रीज कर देती है. उनकी जो प्रोडक्टिविटी है, उनकी जो एफिशिएंसी है, जो अचीव हो सकती थी, वो बहुत बहुत ज्यादा डिक्रीज हो जाती है. एंड देयर इज अ फ्रीक्वेंट चेंज इन द लीडरशिप. एक इनकंसिस्टेंसी बनी रहती है. देयर इज नो फिक्स लीडरशिप एंड there's a frequent change in it. हो सकता है कई बार ऐसा भी नहीं है कि सरकार आई तो 5 साल तक रहेगी, लोग अगर सेटिस्फाइड नहीं है, लोगों ने अपनी सीट्स वापस ले ली, मेजोरिटी नहीं बन पाई, उसकी वजह से भी कई बार गवर्नमेंट फॉल कर जाती है. कई बार इलेक्शन 1 साल में ही दोबारा होना पड़ता है, 2 साल में. इट्स नॉट फिक्स्ड कि 5 साल ही एक टर्म है जो फॉलो होगा. तो बहुत ज्यादा इंस्टेबिलिटी और इनकंसिस्टेंसी भी है, जिसकी वजह से लीडरशिप हमेशा वेरी फ्रिक्वेंटली चेंज होती रहती है. So these are few demerits of democracy as we have understood, but we still are professing democracy. So there must be reasons behind it, which we will learn about in the next class. So I will see you guys in the next session very soon. Before that, let's have a look at the most important 1 mark questions. Guys, remember, live chat pe nahi, comment box mein answer karna hai in questions ka. Okay, so the first question is, which among the following countries denied voting rights to the women until 2015? Estonia, Fiji, Saudi Arabia, Zimbabwe. Second question, what do you understand by one person, one vote? Each adult can vote once in his lifetime. Each person has one vote and each vote has one value. All person must vote for one person. Each person is eligible to contest election. And one quick homework, which is, who was the president of Zimbabwe until 2017? Emerson, Cannon Banana, Robert Mugabe, none of the above. And with this, we come to the end of the session. I'll see you guys in the next session where we will see what are the advantages of democracy, जिसकी वजह से हम इतना ज़्यादा प्रमोट करते हैं डेमोक्रेसी को, इस फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट को लोग अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं. Don't forget to like and subscribe the channel and the video, guys. You can always reach out to me. There's my email ID, and I will see you guys very soon. I hope the session it helped you understand and clarified your questions. Is our constitution rigid or flexible? You tell me. What do you think? What do you mean by rigid and flexible constitution? My real name is Ankana only, bacha. I don't have multiple names. It's not like a stage name or something. Hi, Pranshi. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I will see you again. Bye.